and welcome back to my channel. So recently I reviewed the best-selling foundations at Sephora. I reviewed 7 foundations and it was so much fun. I discovered how amazing a lot of foundations are. And now I'm getting questions on what foundation did I get for my pro kit, or which foundation do I like better, this or that. So on today's video, I decided to rank them. I'm going to rank them from the foundation that I like the least to the one I like the most. And I will also be revealing which one made it to my pro kit. The foundation I like the least is the LANCôME Teint Idole Care & Glow foundation. This foundation does not need any primer nor setting spray, which is great. But on the other hand, it doesn't also like other products to be blended on top of this foundation. My cream bronzer did not blend so well on top of this foundation, and even my powder blush. I have to blend it while applying it because once I lay the brush on my skin, the blush will just stick there and it's so hard to blend. Even for my concealer, when I put the concealer on top of this, it looked very heavy than usual. It also laid a little flat on my skin, so it didn't give me a better looking skin. And when it comes to photography and videos, it just looks flat. This is not a cheap foundation at 65 Canadian dollars for 30 ml, and sadly, it's not just as versatile as the other best-selling foundations that I have tried. It also has a very floral scent, so if you're sensitive to scent, I cannot recommend this foundation. I still love LANCôME as a brand. I love their eyeshadows, their skincare, but I just didn't like this foundation so much. At number 6 is the Too Faced Born This Way Natural Finish Longwear Liquid Foundation. A lot of people are really loving this foundation. It's kind of an OG foundation. It has 14.9 thousand reviews in Sephora, and it has 4 out of 5 stars rating. I get the hype with this Too Faced foundation. It's a safe foundation to have. It looks very natural on. It's very moisturizing on the face. It has a good wear time. But the reason it's in my second least favorite is because of the oxidation. It gave me like a grayish look. Like, it's not very visible in photos and videos, and also not very visible on studio lights. But when I'm checking myself on natural light and looking at the mirror, I can really see that grayish orange cast on my face, and it just didn't make me feel and look beautiful when I was wearing this foundation. I also didn't like that throughout the day, it actually really laid flat on my face. It really turned into a very matte finish that really highlighted the texture on my face. I don't think it's a super bad foundation, but it just didn't have that wow factor for me, especially since I have been trying a lot of the other best-selling foundations before reviewing this foundation. On the 5th spot is the Sephora Collection Best Skin Ever Liquid Foundation. This foundation is actually really amazing, but I just think the other 4 foundations that I will be mentioning later on have a more unique formulation. But for $30, you cannot go wrong with this foundation. This foundation is very true to its claim. It really gave me that second skin effect. It gave me that natural dewiness, and my skin looks healthy with this on. It's very, very light on the face that I didn't realize I have foundation on until I look at the mirror midway while having this foundation. I didn't have any expectation for this foundation, to be honest, but this just really blew me away. I think for people with oily skin like me, you really have to set this with powder because the oil will definitely peek through. Also, if you want the coverage to still be medium coverage until the end of the day, maybe add some finishing spray. I think that this will be perfect for an everyday foundation, but I don't think this is a foundation that I will gravitate to for special events because it doesn't have that full coverage. But overall, such an amazing natural finish foundation. On the 4th spot is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Foundation. This foundation almost mimics an airbrush makeup. I'm just missing a little bit more of that blurring effect, but it's almost there. The reason this is on the 4th spot is because it oxidized a little, but it didn't continually oxidize. It just turned one shade darker after, and that's it. But with this foundation, since it has the characteristics of an airbrush makeup, you need to have a good skin prep. Make sure you exfoliate well and moisturize well because it can cling to the very dry and flaky spots in your skin. So if you have very dry skin, very textured skin, and very flaky skin, it's not for you. For sure, it wouldn't stay onto places where you have rough skin or flaky skin. But I really like that I look like I have a very good skin on. Even on videos and photos, I also like that a little goes a long way. A small amount of this foundation would really give you that full coverage. It really made my skin look very smooth, especially on parts where my only concern is discoloration, like my red veins and my hyperpigmentation. This foundation really covered all those discoloration. And I only had a problem with parts where I have texture or where I get very oily. I think that this foundation is designed for special events, especially for stage makeup, because it has that really good full coverage that when you're on stage, they would really see a flawless canvas. They wouldn't see any discoloration at all. So if you have pageants and things like that, I think that this foundation will be good for it. Okay, so we're moving on to my favorite foundations. On number 3, this is the NARS Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. I love the shade range of this foundation. The people who thought about the shade range are just genius. I bet you can find your perfect match with this foundation because I feel like their shade range is really based on real people's skin tones. And I think that's the reason why this is in most of my bridal makeup artist friends' kit. I love how smoothing this foundation is. It made my skin look very balanced, not too dewy, not too matte. It's just perfect. And even the camera captured it very well. I also think that this foundation is really good for special events, especially for bridal, because it has that healthy glowy finish. It gives you a soft look even with full coverage. I just want to remind you though, when using this foundation, you really have to shake the bottle really well, or else it wouldn't spread evenly on your face. The reason it's on my 3rd spot is that it's a little prone to transfer. So you really need to set this with a powder and a good setting spray. On the 2nd spot is the YSL All Hours Foundation. This is my 2nd most favorite. It was the easiest to blend out of all the long wearing foundations that I have tried in this series. It was so easy to apply, and then it sets very quickly after blending, and it feels very bare on the skin. This is the lightest foundation I have tried. It really feels almost nothing on the face. I also like that even though it's a matte foundation, it didn't highlight the texture on my face. And it is transfer proof. It is the most transfer proof amongst all the foundations that I have tried. It also registers well on camera, in photos, and in videos. It's quite expensive at 75 Canadian dollars for 25 ml, and it's quite heavily scented. That's why it's only on my 2nd. I think that this would suit most skin types because even though it's matte, it didn't actually cling to the texture of my skin. So I think that people with dry skin would still appreciate this foundation. And if you're oily, just make sure not to skip on putting a setting powder. Because although it controlled my oil, I still get a little oily on the 8 hour. But that's a long time of wear. Now on to my favorite foundation. This is my number 1. This is the FENTY Pro Filt'r Soft Matte Foundation. Everything is amazing about this foundation in my personal opinion. I love how this blurred out my pores. This blurred out my pores the most compared to the other best-selling foundations that I have tried. It acts as a really good base to all the products I put on top of my face, and it really showed the true color and finish of my blush and my bronzer. This gave me a filtered, smooth skin look. It has a soft matte finish, but it didn't lay flat on my skin. It really still gave me that bounce, so it doesn't look very flat and dry on my face, all while controlling my oil. It also has a very good coverage. 2 pumps of this foundation gave me a medium to almost full coverage. It also wears for a really long time, and on the 8th hour, I still look like I have a fresh makeup on. I think this will be a great addition to one's professional makeup kit, especially if your clients have a very oily skin type, because this really controlled my oil. This foundation won my heart and definitely what I'll add to my kit, especially for my clients with oily skin. And then for people with dry skin, I added the NARS Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation on my kit. So I hope you find this video helpful, and if you did, please don't forget to like this video, please don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you'll always be updated once a new video is out. Thank you so much, dolls, again for watching. I'll see you on my next one.